And you know, us sports moms have something to say.
Yes, we do.
We'll have a chance to interview across the board, from athletes to the parents to the coaches to even the trainers.
And we're not afraid to share our journey. We're not afraid to tell other moms what we went through in order to raise up a student athlete.
So I believe that it's inspirational.
We able to tell our story, the good and the bad.
We can give back positive information.
Absolutely.
You know, we can empower them.
Yes, I think it's time for the mothers to be a voice.
Yeah, that's it.
It's time for us to let you know what's going on.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your girl, Shannon, at Can We Talk Sports. I'm here with my amazing singer, host.
Karen.
So you notice I said singer, right? Okay, so listen, I'm getting ready for the show, right? And I go on Facebook, and Karen, we're 30 minutes before the show is about to start, and I'm like, what is she doing? Karen is singing, y'all. So somebody sent who was it that did it?
Corey sent a challenge.
Thank you, Corey. Thank you. So Corey sent a singing challenge, and she sung Beyonce, Before I Let You Go. And then go tell me she tagged me to sing. I didn't see it, y'all. No, I'm not singing. So don't ask. Don't send me no text messages.
Yeah, you gotta do it.
She was singing. So I need her to hit that note. She didn't know I was going to do this, right? So go ahead and hit that note, Karen.
Right. I don't want to continue to mess up Beyonce's song.
Only on Can We Talk Sports, right? So we got sports moms, we got now singers,
right?
You know, so hey. So anyway,
the challenge is that you can't sing, and so I was like, you know how we sing in our shower. So I'm like, I accept that challenge. I know I can't sing, and that's why I'm showing you that I can't sing. So
did you say sing in the shower, y'all?
You don't sing in the shower.
That is between me and my shower.
Right.
Me and the Lord. We're the only two that know about my singing. Y'all will not know about my singing. I'm gonna tell you what, but it was cute.
Sing too.
Huh?
You think you can sing too in the shower? You think it be sounding
good?
No,
I really don't. I don't think I can sing. I never thought I could sing. Now I have a sister and my niece. Oh my goodness, amazing singers, and I have cousins that can sing. But me and my other sister Paula, the film director, we didn't get singing.
Oh, y'all didn't get singing.
No, we didn't get singing. No, the Lord just said, "Whoop, I'm gonna jump over you two." I got sports and she has business, right? So I guess the Lord said, I'm gonna jump over you two and I'm gonna give it to your other sister and her daughter.
Right.
And all my cousins and them. I got a cousin, beautiful voice, but no, we didn't get singing. Sorry.
It's okay. So that's why you can do the challenge.
Nope. So anyway, how was your Mother's Day?
My Mother's Day was great. Had all my kids come over. They showered me with gifts. And did I have to cook? No, my son-in-law, he ordered me a dinner from Eddie Dean's. And I ate that, and my son bought me a popcorn popper. I'm gonna be ready for the popcorn challenge, and so I made popcorn. So yeah, I just chilled. It was just good to chill.
Well, that is amazing. So Saturday, my husband takes me on a picnic.
Ooh.
So we went on a picnic, and then that night he grilled. Oh my gosh, this man can cook. Lord, thank you, Jesus, for a cooking man. I'll tell you what. And then my kids, then they got me some gifts and stuff. And then I was pouting.
Oh,
okay. Because I was like, my kids ain't do nothing. Why ain't they do nothing, my baby? And so my husband was like, Shannon, come on, let's go for a ride, honey. And I was like, they better do something. And he was like, baby, just let it go. Let's just go for a ride. So I come back home, right? They had dinner for me. They cooked. I was so touched. I was so emotional.
Didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
You ate all that up.
Yeah, I did. I was emotional. And my grandbaby came to see me too. And I was emotional. So yeah.
Right.
So my Mother's Day was great, I have to say. So
That's
yeah.
good. Did you call your mom? I called my
Yes, I
mom.
called my mom. Talked and I texted my sisters and yeah.
Yeah.
So that's about
Great.
it. Great Mother's Day. Just
Yeah.
stayed home and relaxed. So all right. We got a amazing show. I met an amazing lady, Miss Lena Smith, about a week ago, and we were talking, and just beautiful spirit. We just clicked. I tell you what, Karen. There's you know how there's certain people you just click with, like you've known them forever. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And that's just kind of how we clicked. And so we got into conversation. Her and her husband is raising their 2 grandchildren. And we got on sports, and she was
Mm.
like, I just don't know what to do. And I was like, wow. So she has a foundation called Grand Love. And she even told me about a couple or a grandmother who, they're through their organization. They've helped the grandmother with fees and everything to get their kid, their grandson in sports. And so just God laid on my heart to meet her son Jacob. Just fell in love with him. It's like we've known him forever, right? So
Right.
he trains with Jordan, and just awesome story. So
Wow.
I thought, you know what, we need to do a show, because how many grandmothers are out there, or grandfathers, or couples
Yeah.
raising their kids, their
Yeah.
grandkids, and don't know anything about how to get them in sports or how to get things going, and they have questions. And so
Right.
we thought, this would be a great show. And I love her organization, Grand Love. I think that is
Yeah.
so cute.
Yes.
And right here in Texas, and I think that would be great, because it's not only just sports, but it's just anything the grandparents or the families need while
Right.
raising their grandchild. Because you know what, real quick, I went to a disability um, um, daycare,
Oh, okay.
and back in Tulsa, and I was doing a concert, and it was for kids with disability. And I met a lot of grandparents who are raising their children that are their grandchildren that are disabled, because the mom and dad walked away. They couldn't
Wow.
handle it. And I met
Wow.
one lady, and she said, we don't get to go out.
Wow.
She said, because she says, my grandson, he was in a wheelchair, and he has disability. And he, whether all of a sudden he starts screaming or whatever, she goes, we just can't leave our children, our grandchildren, with anybody. They have to be either certified nurses.
Wow.
I just sat there. She goes, so where you guys can go out and do things and leave them at a babysitter? She goes, we can't. She goes,
Wow.
we can't, because we can't just leave him with anybody, because if he has a seizure, or if he just starts screaming, or if he just starts hitting his head, you don't know what to do.
Wow.
And so when I asked her about her the mother and father, she said they walked away. They
Wow.
left the child. They couldn't handle it.
That's
Yeah,
deep.
that is. So she's left to raise. She looked so tired. And she's like, we don't get that much help from the government. So I love Grand Love. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We
Yes.
need
Yes.
more of that. So there are so many grandparents. So anyway, we will be right back after this, and we will bring on Miss Lena Smith.
Hello.
Hi, Miss Lena.
Hello.
How are you? Oh my gosh, we're so excited to have you on
Yes.
the show.
Well, I'm
Yes.
excited to be here. What a pleasure. And I really appreciate you guys inviting me to join you this evening.
Oh, you're welcome. So
Welcome.
before we get into our game, tell our audience a little bit about you.
Well, I'm a mother of 3 grown sons, and I have 6 grandchildren. And my middle son went through a drug and alcohol battle. And we got our oldest grandson and then the next one, when they were little, they were 3 months and 18 months, and CPS brought us both children. Is when my son was going through his battle, and of course he didn't marry the mothers, so they were and the mothers both had drug addictions, and then like I said, CPS took the children away from the mothers. We didn't even know we had grandchildren. And they brought them to us and dropped them off on our doorstep. And they
Wow.
were 3 months and 18 months old. I had 2. I was in my 40s, and I started all over again with my second letter jacket.
Oh, wow. Oh, this is going to be a
Wow.
great interview, huh, Karen?
Yes, yes.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so before we get started, we want to play this little game called Would You Rather?
Okay.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna let Karen go first with her questions. Little icebreaker. So go ahead, Karen.
Yes. Would you rather have all your clothes fit perfectly or have the most comfortable pillow blanket sheet in existence?
She's thinking. Are you thinking? Can you hear us?
No, well, I didn't hear her. Can you hear me?
Oh,
I didn't hear Karen. I'm sorry.
okay. Would
Can you
you
hear
rather?
Karen?
Can you hear me
No,
now?
I can't hear Karen.
Oh, she can't hear you. Okay.
Okay,
What's
go ahead.
what's the
You can
question,
do
Karen?
yours. I said, would she rather have all her clothes fit perfectly or have the most comfortable pillow, sheet, and blanket that exists?
Okay. Would you rather have all your clothes fit comfortably or the perfect pillow, sheet, and blanket that fits?
All my clothes fit comfortably.
Her clothes fit comfortably. Okay. Mine is would you where'd it go? Okay. Would you rather be a bowling champion or a curling champion?
Bowling champion.
See, that's what I'm talking about. I love bowling. I'm telling you. All right, so we got to move right along. I'm probably going to ask all the questions since you can't hear Karen. So Karen, if you have something, just text it or let me know. Okay, grandmother,
Yes.
right? You're in your
Yes.
40s. You're thinking, hey, we're about to go live life. You know, we're moving on. The kids are grown, and then there's
Yeah.
a knock,
Right.
and
Right.
your life changed forever.
Forever. We had our last one who went off to college we were empty nesters for 2.5 years.
Oh wow!
And our youngest was at Oklahoma, University of Oklahoma, and then 2.5 years later we got a knock on the door and brought us two little babies. I had one on each hip. So
So walk us through that day. I mean, mentally, emotionally,
well,
what
at first, they say it's temporary, and you're only going to have the children for 30 days, and they're going to try to reunite the children with their mothers or their fathers, and of course, both parents had drug addiction issues, so that 30 days became 60, and the 60 became 90, and we realized, after about 6 months. That these children weren't going to be reunited with the parents and kids and as parents we tend to feel a lot of guilt for the choices our children make, and my so I wasn't feeling real good about my parenting abilities at the time because my son was making really bad choices. So at first I wasn't real excited or real happy about it. I was very feeling, I guess, not worthy of the children,
wow.
and love them, but just feeling that you know if I couldn't do better with my first children, how am I going to do better with how am I going to do good with raising a second set of
Wow.
children?
Yeah.
And I went to the Word and really sought God's voice and his direction, and he gave me a word, and I really needed it at the time. And what he told me was, Lena, if I judged my ability based on what my children do, because we're all his children,
Wow.
then I would be a failure, and I'm not a failure. And so
Wow.
I thought that's so
Don't make
because
me
we're
cry right now because that was deep right there.
That's
Oh my
deep.
gosh, that was
well,
wow.
and that's the word he gave me, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna roll up my sleeves. I fought it at first, but not only because I felt like I couldn't do it. And I rolled up my sleeves and said, God, you just got to be with me every step of the way, and you got to fulfill my inadequacies, and protect them from my shortcomings, and I feel like he's done that. And he's been with me the whole time. And it's, now it's been such a blessing for Ray and I, to have raised them, because, um, it's kept us young, and we started, all over again in our 40s. And, but there's a lot that goes with that, a lot of struggles along the way. One of the struggles that we haven't had to bear is financial struggles. We were established, and Ray has been in banking for many years, and I'm a real estate agent. So we were very well established when we got the children. But there are a lot of people that
Right.
aren't financially able to take care of these children, yet they take them on anyway to keep them out of the foster care system.
Yeah.
Right.
Grandparents. So that's why we founded Grand Love, to be able to financially assist those grandparents who are on fixed incomes, who are retired, who don't work outside the home, or they can't work outside the home for whatever reason.
Wow. So as the kids got older, because they were babies, were you guys able to break to them about the situation? What age?
Well, we told them because we had them from a very young age, that you have two mothers. You have your birth mother, and that is the mother that God chose to bring you into this world. And she's a very special person, because God handpicked her to bring you into the world. But you also have a grandmommy, and I'm the grandmommy, and God chose me to raise you. And he handpicked me, because you have other grandmommies, but I'm the one he picked to raise you. And so it's a privilege and it's an honor to raise you. And I'm going to do my very best to do a good job for God and for you. And so that's what we've told him. And you have a birth father, and you have a grandfather, and your grandfather is who God wants to raise you, not your birth father. So, that's kind of how we've explained it to them. We actually never adopted them until about, I guess, 3 or 4 years ago. We actually adopted them. And just to make everything legal, Ray and I are older, and Ray's 63, I'm 60. So we felt like we were in a season that we needed to go ahead and get our state in order. And the first thing our attorney told us to do is that we needed to adopt them, because they are from my son from my first marriage.
Okay.
So Ray and I don't have any children together. So that was another blessing. We've had 2 children together, which we didn't have before. I had 2 sons from my first marriage, and Ray had a son from his first marriage. So we raised 3 boys together, and married when they were real young, but we actually never had children that were his and mine until these 2 boys came along.
Wow. So attitude wise, as they got older, because sometimes when a kid finds out the truth, did you have to deal with anything like that? Was there, whether angry or disappointed or felt rejected, or did you guys have to go through that process?
Well, Jacob is 14, and this past year was the first time that I think he kind of realized it. And that's about the age when if they live with their grandparents or they're adopted, that they kind of realize it. And about 12 to 14, and I caught him, he was on the patio and he was crying, and Jacob's not a crier. And I went outside and I saw him sitting on the patio, and I said, "What's wrong, son?" And he said, "Why didn't my mom want me?" And it just broke my heart. I mean, literally broke my heart.
Oh my God.
I said, "Baby, it wasn't that she didn't want you, it's that she was sick, and she couldn't take care of you, and she wanted what was best for you. And we were what was best for you." And so, and I know that both these boys will someday have a relationship with their birth mother, and I want them to, but yeah, they do. I think they do go through. That was the first time. Jackson hasn't had that, I guess, realization yet, but Jacob has. And, I don't know. I can't imagine what it feels like,
Right.
But, I remember when he was younger, he was probably about 6 or 7 years old. He was playing in his little playroom and those little neighborhood boy who'd come over to play with him.
Mm-hmm.
And the boy was adopted. and the boy told his mother told him that Jacob was adopted. So he looked at Jacob and he said, and the boys call me Honey. I've always had him call me Honey because that's my grandma name. And so he looked at and he said, "Is Honey your mom?" And Jacob just said, "Yes, she's my mom." Just real quick and real responsive. And little boy said, "But is she your real mom?" And Jacob looked at him like he was like the boy was crazy. And he goes, "Of course she's my real mom,"
Oh,
and yeah, and because he just, so they have to get older to really realize that that there's something different, and so it was last year, so about 13 that Jacob realized that something was different.
Wow.
So out of this journey, Grand Love, tell us about how that all came about.
Well, there's a website or not a website, a Facebook page that's grandparents raising grandkids, and you have to be a grandparent raising grandkids to get on there. And I got on there and just read story after story of parents that didn't have the financial means to do this, to raise their grandchildren. And I mean, if you get on there and read, you just break your heart. But this is all over. There's probably 9,000 grandparents on this page. And currently, there are 3 million grandparents in the United States raising their grandkids, 3 million. And so
wait, Miss Lena, 3 million?
3 million grandparents are raising their grandkids and keeping them out of foster care.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And I got on this site and I started reading this, and these grandparents, I just saw so much need. And it wasn't just there was financial need, but there's also some of these grandparents were very angry. They don't want to be raising their grandkids, and they don't understand that. I mean, there's this spiritual opportunity there as well, because they don't understand that these children are a gift from God. They're a blessing.
Yes,
and some of these grandparents were very angry, and they're very
hold on one second. I'm sorry about that. My phone. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. No, and they're just they're mad. They want their lives back. They don't think it's fair, and it's just and of course my heart broke for these kids because they're in this environment of not being wanted even by the grandparents. And then there was a huge financial need. I remember the first time that I did something was a grandmother got on there and she says, and she was in her 80s, her late 80s. So she might have even been a great grandmother, but she got on there and she said, she said, my grandson came home from school, and she'd had him 6 months, and he's having a hard time adjusting. And she said he was like 9 or 10. He came from school and he was really excited. He was going to play football. And he wanted to play football. And, but she said, and he had a flyer from school. And she said, I called it. It's $110. Now, where am I going to get $110 for him to play football? And she said, I don't want to break his heart. She goes, but I don't have an extra $110. I mean, I don't have it, And she said, I just hate breaking this little, my grandson's heart. It's the first thing he's been excited about since he moved in with me. And I immediately emailed her, and I said, please send me the name and the phone number to the league, and I will pay that for you. Wow. And because these kids need that, then they need what sports can give them. And he wasn't going to be able to play because she didn't have that kind of money. And, there was just item after item of need that no one is, it's not being met, because as grandparents, we don't, get any kind of subsidized subsidization from the government. A foster child, they get I don't even know, but $800-900 a month for each foster child they have. Mm-hmm. But grandparents get nothing, and they're keeping them out of the foster system. And I don't need that, but there's so many grandparents out there that do need that income, and they do need that help. So, I just, I met another grandmother, lived in McKinney, and she was an amazing lady. She's raising her grandson, and she had an idea. She said, you know what? She said, we need to figure out a way to help. And so we came up together with the idea of starting a nonprofit called Grand Love, where we would raise money and we would just help grandparents out here in Texas. And we're kind of keeping it in Texas because there's not enough money. We don't have enough to go everywhere. Right.
Right.
but and we've done everything from replace the grandmother in Denton's dishwasher because her dishwasher went out. She's got 5 grandkids, and she just didn't have a dishwasher. I mean, how do you do that? You know. And we've during the COVID, we've got a grandmother McKinney that has great grandmother has 5 grandkids, and we've helped her out with food and just necessities. And but they just filled a form. It's on our Facebook page and tell us what their needs are. And then, you know, we've got a couple that we had. Couple of grandparents said, you know, I just would like all their friends go to summer camps and I can't afford the camp. So we called the camps and we got Sky Ranch and Pine Cove to agree to scholarship the children. So anything we can do to help them financially, emotionally. We've had one grandmother in Louisville that, you know, the child was going through some emotional problems, and we got she didn't have the money to pay for a child psychologist. And so we spoke to some child psychologists that agreed to do it pro bono.
Yes.
And meet with this little boy and help him. You know, just it's hard. You know, you know, sometimes whatever the reason is, and this little boy's situation was drugs. Was you know, the parent wasn't a drug addict and raised the boy for 9 years and then became a drug addict. So this little boy's life changed overnight, and just the adjustment of that. And they just don't have, you know, a lot of them it's lawyers. They don't have the money to, they get the grandkids. And this happened to Ray and I. We had our grandsons, and for probably a long time, for about 3 years. And one of the mothers came back and tried to take them and didn't have a job, didn't have a car, didn't have a place to live, but was pregnant again. And wanted the child for welfare. And so we had to, you know, hire attorneys, and $10,000 later, we got the child. You know, we were able to keep the child, but people don't have $10,000. You know, a lot of these grandparents don't have that kind of money, you know, and they can't fight the CPS and the system. They constantly want to reunite the child with the parent, even if it's not necessarily the best thing for the child. It's just what their job is to reunite the child with the parent. And if you can't, and if these grandparents can't, you know, fight that, they may have them a year, 2, 3 years, and then they're ripped from that home and given back to the parent.
So that's what I was going to ask you. So in this kind of situation, especially if the child protector brought them to you, if the mother comes back or the father comes back and go, I want my child, then they have to give them back even in knowing the situation?
No. What they do is they give them a list of criteria they have to meet. Okay. And if they can meet that criteria, and then you know, they can get the children back. So it just varies. I mean, I know with us, Jackson, our littlest one, the mother didn't meet the criteria, and the Jacob's mother, because they have 2 separate mothers, Jacob's mother moved in with her grandparents. She got pregnant and she moved in with her grandparents and came back and said, okay, now I'm good. Now I want my child back after 3 years. And you know, we said, you don't even know him. You can't just take him back. You know, maybe we should start with visitation. And no, she just wanted the child back. So she met with CPS and they gave her a list of things that she had to do. And she wasn't able to do them to get him back. But if they are able to do them, then they will get the child back. And but only for 6 or 8 months, because the parents end up messing up again. And then the child goes back to the grandparents. It's just a yo-yo for some of these children. And it's just really sad.
Wow. So, well, let's talk about sports. We had our conversation. We were talking about Jacob. And
yes.
You guys listen, Jacob's got a big heart. I tell you, that's my dude right there. I love it because he calls her honey. So I'm going to tell my grandkids to call me honey. I was like, oh, that's kind of sexy and cute, honey. So anyway, but he told her, he said, you know, he's going to the NFL. And honestly, I believe it. Let me tell you why.
Wow.
He has such a determination because of what he'd been through.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, since the 2 days that he was here, we talked about it. And it's funny because my kids encouraged him to take what he's been through and write his story. You
Use
know,
it.
this
Yeah.
is a part of his story. And so he told her, he says, honey, I'm gonna buy you a big house, you
He
know.
did. He told me that.
And today he told me, he said he gonna buy her, she likes classic cars. So he's like, I'm gonna get her a classic car. And I just thought, wow,
Right.
you know, and I told him, I said, I'm so proud of you. I said, I'm gonna tell you why. I said, because you have a lot of kids who went through what you're going through, and they either turn out on drugs or they get angry or they start running the streets. And I said, but you're a very grounded young man. He's a very grounded young man. And I love it
Thank
because
you.
the parents are grounded, first of all, in their faith with God. Okay. Because when you're
Absolutely.
going through something like this, you better be grounded with God, because
Yes.
your whole life changed. And like she said, even, you know, how many grandparents, Karen, feel that way, that am I capable of taking care of my grandchildren?
Yeah.
If my kids messed up, am I going to mess them up? And
Yes.
it's not the parents' fault. It's just a decision that the child made. But how many grandparents think like that?
Yeah.
That are literally like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Can I take care of this, you know, my grandchild? Because your thought is, have my grandchild, let them come over, feed them all the sugar in the world,
Right. And send them home.
Yeah.
you know, let them come over, kiss on them, take them shopping, pack them up with
Hold them.
sugar, and send them
Send
home,
them home.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when that changes, it's like, wait, what
Right.
happened?
I can't send them
Yeah.
home.
We never
I
got
can't
that
send them home.
opportunity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't
We
go
never.
home.
We never were grandparents with these two, and so and now it's even hard because we have 4 other grandchildren, actually 5 other grandchildren, and we don't have time for them because we're full-time parents. And it's like,
Wow.
can you keep my daughter-in-law has a 1-year-old and a 6-month, and she's like, can you keep the babies? And I'm like, no. And I want to keep the babies, but I have, you know, I'm doing football and I'm doing, you know, strength and conditioning, and I'm doing homeschooling now because of COVID-19. And
Right.
I'm a real estate agent, and I've got my 95-year-old dad living with me. I
Oh,
can't keep
wow.
the babies. And so that makes me feel sad because I do keep them. Don't get me wrong, but it's not as much as I would like to, you know,
Right.
because I've got so much on my plate because I'm a parent, you know,
Yeah.
raising my grandchildren.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah, it is. And that's why I love what you started, Grand Love. So let's move into sports. So she had the question. She's like, I don't know what to do with Jacob. And we were talking, and so when Jacob, let's talk about when he first started playing. Did he come to you and say, hey, did he come to you and say, honey, I want to play sports? Or how did that all come about for him?
Well, when he was real little, he loved balls. He loved any kind of ball, basketball, football. He just loved throwing and playing balls. And so as you know, you buy him all the little tight stuff as they grow up, and you encourage it. And he was just that we put him on the soccer field when he was probably 4 years old, and he scored the most goals. I mean, he didn't care. He just scored, you know, and he was just a good athlete. We put him in baseball. First time he swung a bat, he hit the ball. I mean, he was just kind of coordinated at a young age. We put him in basketball, and he did well in basketball. You know, he was pretty much in the top third of every sports team he was on growing up. And then when he got to middle school, he wanted to play football. And I think the first year in 6th grade, he played but they don't play them in 6th grade. They just really suit him up and let him stand on the sidelines. And then in 7th grade, he got hit and he got a concussion at the beginning of the season. And so it scared him. And so in 8th grade, he wanted to play, but he didn't want to get hit. And so Ray tried to talk to him, my husband, telling him that, you know, that's part of it. And so he went out there and he got hit a couple times, and he figured out it didn't hurt. And then he kind of liked hitting people. So he thought, you know, I can do this. And, but he just, like, I don't want to play another sport. I don't want to play soccer anymore. I don't want to play basketball. I want to play football. I want to play football. And then he came in one day at this year, and he said, honey, I want to play in the NFL. And I thought to myself, he said, I want to be a Marine, and I want to play in the NFL, but I want to play in the NFL first, and then I'm going to go be a Marine. And I said, well, okay. And I thought to myself, I don't want to squash his dreams. I don't want to, but the chances are very slim. It's very competitive, and I don't even know how to begin to help him. Where do you go from here? Where, what does that look like? And do I need to put him in? I mean, he's in a small Christian school. He's not even in a school with a big football. I don't even know where to begin with that. And so, and then, it's kind of when I met you, I was like, oh my gosh, I was so excited. I'm like, oh, here, let me ask you this. Let me ask you that. What do I do with him? Because I have no idea,
Yeah.
What to do. And I do hear a lot of parents talking and, about combine camps and doing this and doing that. But I'm lost. I don't know, what to do with him. And, and if I need to, have him, because he's in a small school. He goes to McKinney Christian Academy.
Okay.
And, that's important to us. I mean, the most important thing is that he has the word of God in him to us. So, we want to keep him there.
Yeah, I love it.
This is just so important. This is why it's so important to hear the voices of parents sharing their story. This is the time for this right now. It's for you to be able to hear somebody else's story, share it, and learn from it, and figure out what you have to do. And so, this is exactly why Can We Talk Sports is one of the reasons why Can We Talk Sport is time right now.
Right, I love it because, like I said, we're talking about, we deal with sports mom and single moms.
Yeah.
But when I met Miss Lena, I was like, grandparents, never thought of it, Karen. It never registered. It was just, you're thinking sports mom, young moms, couples, but you never think grandparents, go through this. So that's why I was like, we got to have her on to talk about there's grandparents out there who have questions and who don't understand the recruiting process. And, they got their sons in their 40s. You have grandparents getting their kids in their 60s now.
Right.
And they're like, wait, what do I do with this?
Technology, going and signing up.
We're young. We're young.
Yeah. And you're going, what do I do? Okay, sign up, do what? Boot camp. I mean, combine, you don't know what to do. And so I think this was a well-needed show because to hear the story, I didn't know there was 3 million grandparents out there.
I didn't either.
I didn't. I know there's grandparents out there raising their children, but that's a lot.
Yeah,
I thought that was a long time ago.
Website, the 2.6, but I looked it up right before tonight because I knew I'd be visiting with you, and it's right currently at 3 million grandparents raising their grandkids in the United States. Some of it's due to the military, parents going off to serve, and some of it's due to the opioid addiction, in our addiction, and some of it's just due to death. Parents passing for whatever, whatever reason, but there are 3 million, and there's this is I've already told a dozen moms about the show that I know that live here and prosper, and I've told them, that because they're younger than me, but they don't have any idea either. What do you do? And how do you there's so many avenues out there. Which ones are the ones that you choose? And
even the recruiting process in high school, because we were talking, me and Miss Lena was talking about, she asked me, should I, he wants to play, but should I, what school should I put him in to play at 9th grade? Because this school may not, she says DeSoto. So this school may not be as competitive, and this school. So these are the questions they have. And I really was telling Karen, which is the founder of Can We Talk Sports and the producer, I was like, we've got to connect with Grand Love somehow, whether we send information out or the parents can contact us and ask us questions and workshops and to help them. We would love to do a workshop for Grand Love with parents.
Absolutely. And I'm going to put your this show on my website. So because we have a resource page.
Okay.
And so I want to put that's Wednesday nights and the link to it. They can register and join. And because I do think it's just they'll learn along the ways, and then we can provide the financial support. for whatever they need. When once they get up in a middle school, it's paid for by the public school system. But as they're younger, the soccer and the basketball and all those community leagues they're expensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. My daughter league is 1,000. You see me
Yeah.
flip.
Yeah.
And that's not what you
So like
going and see the
soccer,
games with
Right,
her.
that's not because that's just 1,000 for her to play. Of course, you get her uniforms and the travels, but then when you go to the games and the tournaments, for basketball, it's like 35 for the weekend, and I'm like, okay, hold on, I got
Per
5
person.
per person, right? So I'm going, okay, you're not going to the game, you're not
Right.
going to the game,
Right.
and so
Yeah.
but we've done it, and football and now we have our twins that are 13 who are ready to play league ball. So it's like, man, it is expensive. So, man, Miss Lena, I appreciate this story. We over here love Jacob. I mean, he's just a humble young man, and I can't wait to see. Jordan is excited about walking him through this journey and teaching him and preparing him mentally, not only physically but mentally how to handle all of this. But he's a determined young man. You can see it, you can hear it in this conversation. He is determined to make Honey and Mr. Ray proud. Grandpa, Dad, I'm gonna say Dad, proud. He is determined, and with that kind of determination and that will, with the blessings of God, he will be able to do it. Karen, you got to meet him. You'll meet him one day. He's just phenomenal. So, Miss Smith,
what position he play?
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. And Karen, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to meet you. And I hope to meet you in person someday soon. Shannon, you're just a blessing from God. And so is, your son and for helping Jacob and, pouring into him and mentoring him like this is just, it's from God. I'm just going to tell you it's from God.
It was a divine setup. He plays DB, but Jordan is trying to maybe work with him to play corner.
Okay.
Line up with the receivers. Yeah, because he's tall. For 14, you know what? He was standing in the garage today, right? So he was standing up there and he just reached his arm up. And I'm like, I was like, okay, his arms are long. I was like, this young man gonna be tall. So Jordan's like, I'm gonna practice with him on the corner to line up with the receivers. So that's kind of what he's been doing. They ran routes the other day. It was funny. He was hanging with him, boy. Jacob was like, listen, I'm not gonna let you beat me. But I love it. They just love on him. So anyway, thank you for joining the show.
Yes.
Can you tell people how to get in contact with you and more about your website?
Yes, please. Our website is grand-love.com. grand-love.com. And we have a Facebook page, Grand Love. Please come and like our Facebook page. We'd appreciate that. And if you know of any grand families that need help, please send them in our way. And we would love to meet them, to come along beside them and support them. And my phone number is 469-271-7100. Please call me and give my number out to anybody that's in need. We'd love to help them. And if you'd love to support us, you can go on our page. We have one big fundraiser a year, and we've been very blessed with that fundraiser. And it's in October. We have a big farm to table dinner, and it's here in Prosper, and we have a lot of supporters that come and bless us financially so that we can. We are 100% nonprofit, and nobody's paid. It's all 100% of our funds go to the grandparents. 100%. We pay for everything else.
So people can donate to you guys as well.
You can donate on the website and on the Facebook page, and I just wanted want you to know that 100% of the monies goes to grandparents. We don't. We do all of our stuff as volunteer and just to give back.
Okay. Well, Karen, we have to look forward to going to the dinner this October.
Yes, to interview people.
Have to come be our guest.
Oh, that's going to be great. Can We Talk Sports will be there
we'll do. That sounds fun.
All right, Miss Smith, we appreciate you for being on the show. Listen, again, if you guys would like to donate, go to grand-love.com. Check out the website, find out, read the stories. And if you have questions, if you're going through something, email them, give her a call. If you can't get contact with them, give us a call and I will get in contact directly with Miss Lena. So this is your girl Shannon at Can We Talk Sports, and I'm here with my host,
Karen.
the singing Karen, y'all. Gotta go. She about to start again. I'm telling you, I can't do it. I can't do it. No, I'm playing. So anyway, we will be back this Sunday. We got a surprise for you. Are we gonna wait? Is it this Sunday? Is our
Yes.
cake? Are we eating our
Yes.
Oh my
We're doing
goodness.
my birthday celebration on.
And it's her birthday celebration.
Yes.
Yes. So everybody have a good night and we will see you Sunday. Bye.
Bye.
Hi.